Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 81st episode of In the Trenches, Kroll's weekly cyber threat intelligence briefing. Today is the 16th of December, and my name is George Glass, an Associate Managing Director in the Cyber Threat Intelligence team. Joining me today is Dave Truman. As always, we'll be covering the most recent trends our threat intelligence team is witnessing in the trenches. So let's get into the situation report. First up, US has charged a Chinese threat actor for exploiting a zero-day in 81,000 Sophos firewalls. The US government has unsealed charges against a Chinese national, Guan Tianfeng, for allegedly exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in Sophos firewalls, impacting thousands of devices worldwide in 2020. The threat actor is associated with Sichuan Silence Information Technology, and is accused of developing and using CVE 2020-12271, a critical SQL injection flaw to breach approximately 81,000 firewalls, exfiltrate data, and deploy the AsnaRock Trojan. Sophos revealed the flaw was reported to them suspiciously just before the real-world attacks began. The US Treasury Department has sanctioned the individual and the group, citing their links to Chinese intelligence and cyber espionage activities, including ransomware attacks and disinformation campaigns. Over 23,000 compromised firewalls were in the US, with 36 protecting critical infrastructure. Sophos warned of the growing threat from Chinese nation-state actors and called for collaborative efforts to innovate and enhance security software. Excuse me. 8 arrested in Belgium and the Netherlands for operating a phishing ring. Belgian and Dutch authorities have arrested 8 suspects connected to a phone phishing gang that primarily operated from the Netherlands to steal financial data and funds. The international operation involved 17 searches in Belgium and the Netherlands, seizing cash, firearms, electronic devices, luxury items, and jewellery. The suspects carried out large-scale phishing campaigns via email, SMS, and WhatsApp, tricking victims into sharing credentials through fraudulent links. They also posed as police or bank staff to scam elderly victims, often approaching them at home. The criminals used stolen funds to finance luxury lifestyles, including vacations in Spain and high-end purchases from brands like Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Rolex. It's good that those individuals are going to be brought to justice. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, please get in touch with us using cti@kroll.com. That's cti@kroll.com. So let's get into the rest of today's briefing. I'll be covering Microsoft Patch Tuesday and vulnerabilities affecting Ivanti devices, of which one of them is a CVSS 10. And Dave will be talking about a new tactic observed by KTA 134, or Black Basta. So on to Patch Tuesday. 73 vulnerabilities fixed, 27 critical, 27 also privilege escalation, and 31 remote code execution vulnerabilities. One of those vulnerabilities fixed is also a zero-day, and that is CVE 2024-49138 with a CVSS score of 7.8. And this affects Windows Common Log File System drivers. And that allows an elevation of privileges. The vulnerability is a heap buffer overflow-based vulnerability, which is a memory security issue. If exploited, the vulnerability allows a threat actor to elevate to system-level privileges. Details of the in-the-wild exploitation have not been shared publicly, but we do know that CLFS has been used by a number of threat actors in the past for very similar styles of attack as well. We're not sure of how widespread the use was, but ensure that we patch to stop that one being used against you. Another one to bring to your attention is CVE 2024-49112. That's a critical remote code execution vulnerability in the Windows LDAP client. And this has a CVSS score of 9.8. An unprivileged attacker can exploit it to run arbitrary code on an Active Directory server via specific LDAP calls. More information on that has not yet been revealed by Microsoft, but they advise patching that vulnerability and configuring servers to reject RPCs from untrusted networks. Next, another vulnerability or a suite of vulnerabilities here for Ivanti. Ivanti has released an advisory and security update for a set of vulnerabilities in its cloud services, Connect Secure, Policy Secure, and Sentry products. Ivanti does not believe that these vulnerabilities are being exploited in the wild. However, it should be noted that of the set of vulnerabilities include critical authentication bypasses, command injection, and SQL injection vulnerabilities, with the highest having a CVSS score of 10, and that is CVE 2024-11639. It's an authentication bypass a vulnerability within the web admin console, and it impacts Ivanti CSA 5.0.2 and earlier. And this allows for a remote unauthenticated attacker to gain administrative access. As always, the recommendation here is to update your appliances as soon as possible. Now I'll hand over to Dave to give us some details on the latest KTA 134 activity. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you. Rapid7 released a report detailing KTA 134, aka Black Basta, refining their TTPs. Over 2024, the group has developed their campaigns to initiate initial attack via email bombing, closely followed by Microsoft Teams contact. The group will pretend to be technical support, contacting the victim to resolve the issue. Often the group will use a Teams display name such as Help Desk, Help Desk Manager, Technical Support, or Administration. They will then attempt to trick the user into installing a remote access tool. Previously, it was reported that this was AnyDesk. However, more recently, KTA 134 have been observed changing tools between campaigns, indicating a wider toolset. Some of the more recent remote access tools include Screen Connect, TeamViewer, Level, and Quick Assist. KTA 134 also sends the victim a QR code which contains a link. It is unknown what the URL leads to. However, since the original message contains the phrase, "You need to add a trusted device," it is likely that this is part of a multi-factor bypass trick. Their credential harvester has also been updated. It has changed from an exe file to a DLL file, which they launched via run DLL32. It is important to educate users on the email bombing followed by direct contact technique, as the nature of this combination will bring credence to the social engineering attempt by offering a savior at the time when the user is under stress and more susceptible to being tricked. And as always, it is good to have an EDR solution in place that detects and blocks execution of malicious software early. Thank you. George?
Thank you very much, Dave. Really appreciate that. And that's all we have time for this week. And indeed, this is the last briefing of 2024. We're not operating the usual program next week. We're going to give our team a well-earned rest. Of course, we'll still be updating of anything critical that goes down, anything that we need a timely response to. But all that's left for me to say is have a very happy holidays. If you have any questions or comments, reach out to us using cti@kroll.com. But yes, happy holidays and a happy new year, everybody. Thank you very much.